He's concerned about World War III. Russia's nuclear doctrine calls for the employment of nuclear weapons. The West and the East are going to be fighting on the opposite side, and he's assembling the coalition to target both U.S. homeland and allies. Putin wants to make sure that he builds an anti-U.S. axis, which includes North Korea, China, Cuba, Venezuela.
Breaking news coming out that for the first time in 24 years, Russian President Vladimir Putin is going to be visiting North Korea. And what do you think they're going to be talking about? Well, I'm going to be sharing with you what it is the experts are saying. And yes, they are saying there's discussions with the current conflicts all over the world about World War III and Russia and North Korea unifying. And they believe these talks have already taken place between China and Russia as well, and that Putin is now getting North Korea on board. Now, this comes, as I shared with you just yesterday, that Russia called NATO's chiefs nuclear remarks an escalation of tensions. Now, what was it that they said that made Russia so mad and feel like this is escalating tensions towards potential war? Well, it's the same thing we saw the United States say last week as well, and that is that they could be deploying more nuclear weapons. The United States and NATO both vocalizing they're going to be taking nuclear weapons out of storage and having them on standby ready for potential nuclear war. And this is in response to the growing threat.
Shalom, shalom. Call HALALYAM YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great MILLSTONE to teach you well. Peace and salutations be to the Lord elect. I'm Brother Tazo. I'm coming at you from the Prophets in Babylon camp here in Tampa, Florida. This lesson is going to be going into Russia, well, the tensions of World War III rising up. Russia visits North Korea, strengthening the ties with China. Russia visits Cuba. Okay, and this guy says in this video, it seems like what he's doing is making no America zones all over the world. Like in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, China, all these places. It's like he's allying with or rallying with, to keep America away from. And these are Russia's allies. Russia is cool with these nations. There's talks of him visiting his old friends, because guess what? Now there's war on the rise. World War III, the war to end all wars, is rising up, And now you got Putin visiting all these other nations, and America's just sitting there just watching like, damn, what do we do? There's nothing they can really do because Putin gathering up his army. What happens when a guy about to go meet up to a fight and he started visiting all his friends before the fight? You already know he's building up an army. He's building up somebody or people that is going to back him up during that fight, and justify him in that fight. So Putin already building up an army, man, building up his allies. He already got his allies and calling them no America zone. Because America can't go over there and try to persuade these people no more. Cuba's right underneath Florida. Okay, but that's right on the border of America. Russia was there. So there it goes to show you Russia. Now, if Russia really ally with Cuba, he's got a whole base down here underneath Florida. They can really move in, send troops in, and get busy at the bottom of Florida, man. And then you got all these talks of war. All the things that's been done, now there's been actions taken. At this point, we're just waiting on somebody to throw the first punch, man. Because it's gonna happen. That first punch is inevitable. So is the last punch. But we're just waiting on it. We're at that point now where things are about to hit the fan. You had Saudi Arabia, they renewed their contract with American dollars. So now America's got to use something else to buy Saudi Arabia oil, and there was talks of digital currency, using digital currency to do it, man. So America's getting ready to move toward that push towards the MOTB in the time of war. Everything is collapsing at the same time. All prophecies are coming at the same time, man. So I had an interruption, but they got these scriptures in the book of Revelation, chapter 9 verse 12. One woe is past, which was the First World War. It says, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter, meaning 2 world wars more thereafter, that first war. All right. And all these world wars were prophesied in the scriptures. Okay. And these things went down in history. And the Bible is what? A history book. So these 3 major events that were going to take place in Mark history were already prophesied in the scriptures before they happened. So 1 woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. Okay. Then you got this one, in the book of Revelation. It says, Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14, the 2nd woe is past, and behold, the 3rd woe cometh quickly. Okay. So the 3rd world war, after the 2nd world war, the 3rd world war is coming quickly. You know, and that one's inevitable. It's unstoppable. It's the war to end all wars. You know. Let me see. Second Esdras. All right, so it's the book of Second Esdras, chapter 13. Second Esdras, chapter 13, and verse. We'll start at verse 2. It says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Whew. And you know the Lord is extolled above all things, so he was on high, man. That means everything it trembled. You know, everything trembled because everything was under the Lord. In that vision, and that's going to come to pass. It says, and whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the 4 winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Okay. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. The Lord was upon a chariot. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So these people were gathered together because they were in the midst of war. They were already in war when the Lord pulled up, man. You know. It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. So the Lord destroyed them in a heartbeat, man. You know. But this is, of course, going to be doing that final war, that World War III, you know, in the midst and the climax of their battle. You know, the Lord going to pull up and destroy everything. Okay. And there's going to be many wars. Okay, and this one war alone. So let's just grab that in the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 30. Verse 33. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The woman shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Now, what's going to cause these men to go extinct like this? It says, in the wars shall the bridegrooms be destroyed. And the wars is just the battles. You know, it's one whole war, but these different battles are considered like wars, you know. There's going to be many different battles in this whole war, this war of Armageddon, this apocalyptic war. And their husbands shall perish of famine. Hear now these things, and then understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Okay, so you said a husband's going to perish in the famine, and the bridegroom's going to be destroyed in the wars. These women, they're going to be missing men because these men going to be drafted. You just had this draft, right? You just had this military draft from ages 16 to 26. They did the same thing in Ukraine, and then what happened? They upped the age. They started sending old men out there. They started sending women out there, you know? They needed everybody they could to fight that war. And it's going to be the same thing in Babylon, man. You know? Let me grab this. Because this war we're coming into is going to be the greatest war that you've ever seen, that you've ever heard of. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 24. We'll start at verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So there's going to be many things going on during that war. Famine, pestilence, okay, sickness, diseases. All right, there's going to be an inner war, which is going to be inside the country, and an outer war is going to be outside the country. It says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, like you see the horses walk into the streets. The streets are, when they pass, the streets are riddled with shit. So it was like dung, just cast it out. It was like it says, and there shall be no man to comfort them. No man gonna be there to bury them and comfort them and mourn them. And there's gonna be time to have funerals and family gatherings to discuss what happened to their loved one and the memories they had with their loved one. You know, it says, for the earth shall be wasted and the city shall be cast down. So the people that's gonna be mourning you, they're gonna be dead too, man. You know, and that's why we give thanks unto YAHAWASHI for the mercy he's shown upon us every day, daily, man. Because he's helping us every day. Every day he's showing us mercy. Every time we every heartbeat, there's mercy, man. The Lord has shown mercy with every heartbeat, because the Lord can just stop your heart at any instant, at any moment. But that just goes to show you that continuously the Lord is having mercy upon you. And you've done things in this life and the lives before that's worthy of death, man. You know, and no man, scriptures say, no man perished being innocent. Okay, and also the other scripture also roughly paraphrasing, it says, there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. Okay, because everybody is riddled with sin. Everybody is painted with sin. There's no man greater than the other, man. And according to works of the law, you know, by the law, because we all, you know, have been we all have been sinners according to the law, man. You know, so the Lord is continuously having mercy upon us, continuously dealing with us, and that's why we got to give thanks to him, man. We don't want to be a part of these wars that niggas are gonna be casted out as dung in. You know, you're gonna walk outside and the street gonna be riddled with dead bodies. You're gonna have to step over them. The city's gonna stink. After a week of the dead being out, their bodies began to emit gases, okay, from the bacteria eating away at its flesh after 4 to 5 days. So like after a week, the body begins to the bacteria in the body begins to eat away at it, essentially decompose, and the body inflates. You know, it swells up because of the gases being emitted from these bacteria eating out the tissues. And then these gases that's given off of these bodies, they stink horribly. That's the smell of a rotten body, a dead body. And that's the smell that's going to be stinking, you know, throughout the streets. And it's a great stench because it's a dead body. It was flesh. The Lord created it, you know. So it's going to be noticeable. I was watching a video where this guy was like, he had to put a camera down in his neighbor's window, because the neighbor's window was open, you know. The neighbor's window was open, and so he put a camera to like a stick or something, and he slid it down his window underneath his apartment. It was underneath his window apartment on the floor below him, and he slid it down to go inside of his window, and the dude's window was open, and all you seen is his body on the bed, swollen up like a big old balloon, You know, that means that man's been dead for like a week. And the only reason he knew that, the only reason he even attempted to do that is because he could smell the stench of a dead body, the rottenness of a dead body, man. Shut up! Salakia. He could smell the rottenness of a dead body, and that's why he was, he ventured to put that camera in that window. But that's what you're gonna be smelling in those days. Nothing but dead body, rottenness. Your animals are gonna die. People gonna eat their pets first. Then they're gonna eat themselves. They're gonna eat their children. Then they're gonna eat themselves. They're gonna eat their friends. It's gonna be a bunch of death and destruction. So we must be thankful to the Lord that we're not a part of it. It says, "And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it." Be quiet. It says, "There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it." Because what? These men are all going to be sent off to war. These men are all going to die in a war. Okay, they're going to die at their own homes, getting robbed or destroyed by their neighbor for the very lack of bread and thirst for water. No man, like the scriptures say, no man going to have pity upon his neighbor. They ain't going to spare them. It says, book of, so I can bear with me. So it says in the book of Joel, the book of Joel, chapter 2, it says, the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 2, "A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, and neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations." So that's talking about what? That's not talking about a normal people. That's not talking about people. That's talking about nuclear missiles, man. "A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, and nothing shall escape them." So this army, these nuclear missiles, is going to destroy everything. It's going to waste away everything. You see what those bombs did to Hiroshima? Well, that was nothing compared to these nukes. Okay, the Lord has prepared these nukes. He has bathed them, prepared them, gave them commandment. It says, "The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run." Okay, that's now the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. So a simile, right? A simile will be a comparison using the words like or as. So that means they're comparing these they're comparing these as they're comparing them to horsemen. That doesn't mean they're actually horsemen. It's just a comparison saying that they look like horsemen. Okay, running. Okay, so these aren't actual men in war. This is an actual army on horses. This is a whole nother level that John was seeing, man. It says, "Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array." Okay, so it says, "Before their face the people shall be much pained, and all faces shall gather blackness." Why are these people gonna be looking so doomed? Why are they gonna be looking so hopeless? Because they know they ain't gonna be able to escape these nuclear missiles, man. Okay, they gonna know it's the Lord's judgment. You know? So it says, oh yeah, this is on that, so I really want to grab on that, you know. Let me drop down to verse 10. It says, the earth shall quake before them. I mean, these things gonna be shaking the earth. Okay, they're just that powerful. It says the heaven shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining, because these things are gonna fill the sky with their mushroom clouds, the smoke. Okay, fire. Okay, it says, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? So these nations thinking that they got these nuclear missiles to defend themselves, but they didn't even realize that they're building up the Lord's army. All right. But with that, I truly hope this lesson was edifying to you. I can YAHAWAH in truth sincerity. Until next time, inshallah, I give all glory, honor, praises unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH.